here's the breakdown with Justin Hunte.
Just, what up, bro?
What up? What up?
I don't know. I don't know why I act like you just got here. We literally, it's Pavlovian. When I hear that intro, I just hey, he just got here. All right, we got Justin Hunte here, and we teased it before. But if you're just tuning in, what are we gonna be talking about, Justin?
We're gonna rank 4 rappers. Okay, it's one of the memes that went around this week that really stood out to me.
Okay,
because I changed my list like 4 times while I was thinking about it. So we're ranking 4 rappers. You got to put these 4 rappers in order. Number 1, Black Thought. Number 2, Pharoah Monch.
Okay.
Number 3, Mos Def. And number 4, Ghostface Killah.
Okay, and you said you had it, and then you changed it.
The more I think about it, right, because the thing that stands out to me is that these artists are all super MCs, right? They're all part of classic records, classic groups, classic solo stuff. You know, Pharoah Monch was Organized Noise. He was
Organized Confusion.
Organized Confusion, excuse me. Organized Confusion, you know, great solo record on Raucous Records. Ghost wrote a whole Diddy album that did really, really well. Got caught in a label limbo in the 2000s, like a lot of artists did, and then came back with a phenomenal project called Desire in 2009. He is one of these guys that super MCs revere because he's so dynamic, such a great storyteller. He can sing, you know, he can do impressions of other artists, and he makes fantastic albums, right? But then you compare that to Mos Def, right? Mos Def had Black Star, part of a group, also. Super classic debut album, Black on Both Sides. Miss Fat Booty's on that. Umi Says goes up anytime I'm at, you know, any Afro punk event. I always see a whole lot of Umi Says shirts. I personally don't think of his next couple of albums as being as good as that first one, but the core of his catalog is already set, and he's just one of the nicest MCs ever. Like, you can look at Mos Def and he just looks like hip hop. You know what I mean? That whole video with him and Dave Chappelle riding in the car, you know, turned into a joint that was on Black Jack Johnson album. Incredible. He's awesome in every platform, right? 3, you got Black Thought. Who's Black Thought? Who's frontman of The Roots? Probably the best breath control in the history of hip hop. Tears up all the freestyle ciphers anytime he's on any radio show. You know, he's also one of your favorite rappers. And the longevity is crazy. I mean, you know, they've been around 30 years. You know, so he's been able to push, in my opinion, the art of live MCing to places we hadn't seen. And so that's totally different than the first 2 we talked about. And then we got Ghostface Killah, right? He's got some of the illest verses on the Wu-Tang projects, but he probably has the strongest catalog in the Wu-Tang Clan. You know, if you look at just his ear for production, right? Just his ability to put together crazy albums like Iron Man, for example. You know, my favorite Ghostface Killah record is Fish Scale. On that album, he's swimming underwater with SpongeBob, chopping up drugs. He's got a song about hollering at a chick and his gun falls out. And then he's rapping about being in the barbershop. There isn't a topic Ghostface Killah can't address. And for him...
it's funny. Let me jump in. It's funny that you say Fish Scale is your favorite album, because I really dig it too, but that's one of the albums that really didn't get I don't feel like it didn't get the shine from critics that I think it deserved. So it's funny that you picked that.
100%. You know, I mean, you could, and Ghostface has one of those catalogs where you can kind of do that, right? Like, Ghostface is known, you know, most for Iron Man, Supreme Clientele, you know what I mean? Those are like probably his 2 magnum opuses, right? But then Bulletproof Wallets is crazy. You know, the Pretty Tony album has a lot of people who love it. Fish Scale to me is wildly underrated. And that's even before we talk about the Purple Tape and the Purple Tape 2, you know? So I think he probably has the best catalog of everybody that we talked about so far.
So what was your first list, and then what did you change it to?
Well, the first time I went through, I had Ghostface, Pharoah Monch. I had Ghostface, Black Thought, Pharoah Monch, and Mos Def. And that's because I went super heavy on catalog. right, I started thinking about this the way I normally do, which is I like albums, right? And so how many dope albums can somebody put out, or how many times can they put out, acclaimed projects? But then I realized I'm in 2022, right? And a lot of stuff was just missed in the 2000s, right? I can't hold it against Pharoah Monch that he got caught in label limbo for 10 years. To me, Pharoah Monch is actually the best MC on this list. Like, this the number of different ways he can rap, the number of stuff he can do with his voice on the microphone, to me is just totally different, right? So once I stopped looking at it heavily based on catalog, and I started basing it off of just how many times I'm just wildly impressed by whatever somebody just said, my list changed. And so it went Pharoah Monch, Ghostface, Mos Def, Black Thought. And no knock against Black Thought, obviously. It's hard for me to quote Black
Thought. Look, it's kind of interesting. It's basically what people value in a rap. Like, this is going to come down to what you value in an MC, and you explained that pretty well. I differ. I think your first list was right. I agree with your first list. That's my list. Ghost. One, he spits fire. Two, he's been on more classics than anybody on that list. And another thing that's very important about being an awesome MC, look at Nas. He was a victim of this, is being able to pick good beats and being able to bust on those beats and make good songs that people want to listen to over and over again. I don't know how many fucking great MCs I don't want to fucking listen to. Yeah, they're like great battle rappers, or they can freestyle a bunch, but they can't make a song. So like, why do I want to listen to that over and over again? And I really feel like Ghost, he's the most complete package. Like, he might not be the strongest in all the suits, but like, I feel like he's the overall strongest MC, and like you said, his catalog reflects that. I'm not picking him because his catalog. I'm picking him because everything he did to make a good catalog. You see where I'm coming from with that shit?
100%. Yeah, I mean, he probably has the best ear for beats on this list too.
And here's the other thing. I got Mos Def last, just because I know it's two projects and they're dope. But like you were saying, like he's not spitting like either one of those cats, and the other people do have that longevity that they have a deeper catalog than Mos Def, and they can like I feel like Black Thought. It's one of those. It's funny that Black Thought and Pharoah Monch is on here, because one could argue that these two are two of the most underrated MCs in hip hop.
Easy.
I think Black Thought's major strike against him is he's not like super flamboyant or out there. Like, look, he spits like a motherfucker, but when you think of Roots, yeah, think of Questlove, because he's got a big afro and he's always doing interviews and shit like that.
Right.
He's a hell of a fucking drummer, but that almost comes in third. Like, I think half the cast said no Black Thought don't even realize what a good, or Questlove don't even realize what a good drummer he is. And Black Thought's kind of like just the gift, and like, I think he's cursed by humility in a way. He just kind of does his thing. He can spit his fucking ass off. He can flip. He can rap slow. He can do it all. And they make really fucking good songs on a bunch of records, even into the 2000s, with Give It Here and shit like that. And then you have Pharoah Monch, who's Organized Confusion, Fudge Pudge. They on their second album, they had Stress, which was a banger, and then he rapped Straight Bullet, where he was I forgot he became a bullet. He personified a bullet and explained how that shit was like going through motherfuckers, which Nas later on did something similar to that. And then we all know him for Yeah, Pac too. So like I think he was before both of those cats.
He was like 3
Yeah, I
years
think he was
before
before both of those cats.
Like,
Yeah,
he might
totally.
be, was it 96? So he's like 5. He's what? When he did that, what year was that? 94. So he was
That
2
was
years before
92 or
both of them.
93, right? Right, yeah.
Stress was 94, and then the other ones
okay.
came out 96.
Yeah. So he was really he was a trendsetter on some of that shit. Even the beat even that sample, Pac later on used the same sample. So he was ahead of cats on a couple things. And I really feel like he doesn't get the love he deserves. If anything, I think in this like this ain't a knock on anybody, but I think Mos Def is the most hyped one. He's the most hyped. I think it has a lot to do with, like you said, he's driving around with Dave Chappelle. He's done more outsider rap crossover shit than all three of those guys. And I think that's a big reason why he was put on this list. I'm not trying to take away from his 2 albums, but it's 2 albums that people really mention.
It's really 2, right? And and maybe Black and the Black Thought album. So not Black Thought, excuse me, Black Star album. Because True Magic got panned. It looked lazy. He didn't put he didn't have any cover art for it. You know what I mean? And then the Ecstatic, I think, is really good. It's a great project, but I don't think it compares with anything else that he's put out previously. The thing I do like about Mos, though, is that he comes up with a lot of innovative ways to approach a track. You know what I mean? And I think that, to me, is one of his best attributes. He doesn't come into songs similarly. Almost everything sounds a little bit off kilter. He can go straight at you if you want to. He's coming up with new, schemes all the time. But
yeah,
it's kind of limited when you really think about it.
What was that one where he's like kind of? I think like he's like spelling the alphabet or he's spelling some shit out. I think it's on the Black Star shit, or it might be on his first album. But like that, I think that kind of is to your point where he just like, yeah, it's fresh, man. But like I forgot how it goes. Yeah. But it starts kind of with an acapella and comes in with like an ill beat, and you're breaking your neck to that shit. So I think you have a good point. And what do you think about this? I feel like Ghost has the most character and charisma out of those 4 cats. He's got a way of like really expressing himself. It's like on the second Wu-Tang shit, on the second Wu-Tang album, when he's talking about his homeboy getting shot and shit, I still be yelling, "Blood on my wallies like ketchup!" Like, he just he's just got a way of like spitting regular and then turning it up to fucking 20 and then like back into spitting again, which I find to be like exciting and like, all right, yeah, get this. Like it makes even when I think about it, I just made the smell a fart face. I was like, ugh, like it makes me grimace when he spits. Yeah, he's the most grimace-producing MC I got on there.
Probably. And I think he also is the most relatable too, because he uses a lot of like food metaphors. Everybody knows food, blood on the wally like ketchup, you know what I'm saying? Like roaches in the cereal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, cereal box, yeah.
His personification leans on things that are very accessible. So I think that as opposed to like Pharoah Monch, he's got some big metaphors, right?
Right.
And so I definitely think that too. I also think the thing with Ghost is like, he's the most narrative based out of these guys to me. Like everything is like, everything is vivid. Everything is 4K. You know what I mean? Everything is IMAX, no matter what he's talking about. And he's also seems like he's having the most fun to me.
Right. Yeah.
He seems like he enjoys rapping, while he's rapping.
Here's the other thing about Ghost that he has that the other 3 don't have. He is so in tune with popular culture. He was also, one can argue, him and Wu, like, shit, he's claiming Once Upon a Time in America, like Jewish gangster flicks made by Sergio Leone. Like, you guys might, like, if you've seen the movie, you hear him referencing these crazy shits and they make sense by themselves. But then if you know the movie you appreciate the lines even more. He also Wu was like before all of the fucking superhero shits. These motherfuckers claim comic books all throughout there. He's talking about Jamie Summers getting trained on the tour bus. I think that was the Bionic Woman, or he's always making. He makes a ton of fucking pop culture references that I find interesting.
I definitely agree with that too. I think isn't that kind of fun though? Like that's one of the things I always enjoy when I'm talking about rappers, MCs, lyrics, and things like that, right? Like breaking down a bar, showing someone who might not be familiar with this artist, who this artist is through something this artist is talking about. And Ghost on this list to me does that the most, right? If you don't know Ghostface Killah, you definitely know what he's talking about, regardless. You know what I mean? And that's something that's an intangible that I think means a whole lot.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. He is like an MC and a fan at the same time. You know what I mean? Like he's like, he ain't saying shit just to say. He's saying shit because he fucks with it, And I think that's cool. I think that's dope. So Justin has what is it? You got.
Well, I have Pharoah first. I definitely have Pharoah first. And so
you got Pharoah?
Because I got Pharoah, I got Ghostface, I got Black Thought, and I got Mos Def.
Oh, so it's Pharoah, Ghost, Black, Mos?
Yeah, that's where I ended up.
So I got Ghost, Black, Pharoah, Mos. So those are the two orders that Justin and I have. What's your order? And you can briefly tell us. Clearly, you're not going to be able to fucking just go on like I just did or Justin did, but just you can briefly tell us your main reason why you put the list that way. 888-742-3345. We ranking rappers.
Got Tony in OKC.
Tony.
What's good, boys? How y'all doing?
Shit, chilling. Good, man. So what you got for it?
Man, this is a great conversation y'all are having. I love listening to it. Y'all are like talking about four of my favorite MCs, and even just listening to y'all, I can't get my list back together. But man, I got to put Mos in the front. I'm off on y'all on that one. Black on Both Sides is just insane. And then Ghost is mythos walking. I mean, the man is a legend and a crazy MC. And then I got to go Black Thought and Pharoah. For no apparent reason. I mean, it's hard to put those four in order, but they're badass, and I appreciate y'all for having this conversation.
So, I'm just from what you said, like out of all of the MC's releases, Black on Both Sides is hands down your favorite.
Man, it's front to back. Like, like the first time I was a big Black Star fan, anyways, and then like. The first time I heard that album, just goosebumps, still does it to me. And this new Black Star album is sick.
That's cool.
Sick. So
that's an interesting reason. Yeah. Justin, what's your favorite album out of the? We didn't. Neither one of us said our favorite albums is out of all of the MCs.
Mine is Desire. Mine's Pharoah Monch Desire. I mean, I know a lot of people probably haven't heard it, but it's one of the most brilliant pieces of quintessential connoisseur rap I've ever heard in my life. I mean, it's got uplifting motivational stuff. He has just bar heavy stuff. He's got storytelling. There's a whole trilogy that's like part victim, part police officer, part murderer. You know what I mean? I mean, it's crazy. All the production is nuts. I mean, everybody you ever want to hear on the track is producing on it. Alchemist is on it. You know what I mean? Black Milk's a producer on it, Mr. Porter's on it, I mean, and he's singing his ass off on it too, I think it's just the most well-rounded piece out of any of the albums from these artists that we're talking about.
And it's funny that, and mine is Iron Man and Cuban Links, which is a Raekwon project, but Ghost it might as well be both of them. Ghost is busting on damn near every track. Right. And so that's three out of three people. Like whoever made their favorite album, we put them as our number one rapper. Right. I wonder if that trend will continue. Who's next?
Got Cliff in Atlanta.
Cliff, go ahead, bro.
Peace. What's going on, y'all?
Chilling, dog. What's your order?
Yeah. So the reason for my list is based off subject matter, good albums, delivery, and I'm going with Ghost first. I'm going with Mos second, and I'm going Black Thought 3, and then Pharoah last.
Okay,
that's my list. Ghost is number one because like that Iron Man, like the subject matter is different, and then he's been consistent. Like every subject matter metaphor he give you whatever, and most like the black on both sides, man. Like everything is good to me, man. I mean you can't really go wrong with either or, but if I had to put one, it'll be Ghost, Mos Def. It would be Black Thought, 'cause the Roots is. I mean, what they're doing right now with Jimmy Fallon right now is crazy too. It shows his range. And Pharoah organized, and then his solo stuff, like you said, he got mixed up in 2000s. But I haven't really heard that much from him. You got to dig deep. But that's my list right there, man.
The other thing too that I just thought about, like, I don't know. I think out of like, you was claiming Umi Says and shit and Miss Fat Booty, but like what's out of all these MCs, I want to say Pharaoh's Simon Says Get the Fuck Up might have been in my, like, as when I went out for those years, like that might have been the one that just got the crowd the craziest though, bro. Like when that bump came in at the club, cats would go bananas. Was it the same for y'all?
I definitely agree. That Simon Says is classic. Not just that Oh No with Nate Dogg is crazy as well.
Oh,
man.
I forgot about Oh No. Yeah.
Oh No is super crazy. Like Pharoah did a lot of stuff. My Life, and that was on the soundtrack ESPN Baller's Life, like I think as well. Yeah. But like just I think Ghost, man, and Most for me. The stuff he did with what he did with I think with Talib. That stuff is crazy, man. And I don't know, man. That whole list of MCs, if they do a concert in the A, I'm coming. I'm missing work. I don't care. I don't care. I'm getting points. I might get fired because it's good and it's like-minded people. Whoever came up with this is great, man. I love this talk, man, right now.
Hey, whoever's answering the phone calls, can you guys write down everybody's what they pick? Because I'm kind of curious to see what the consensus is once we get done taking these calls. Sure, Jude. Okay, who's next?
Grab my pen right now, man. All right. Let's see. Let's go.
I can't see your big chin nodding, dog. Like I'm on the couch.
Larry and Philly.
Philly, go ahead.
Peace. What's going on?
Shit, chilling.
So
what's your order?
I'll put Black Thought first.
Okay.
Following Black Thought, I will put Ghost. Following Ghost, I'll put Most, and then I will put Pharoah last. Reason I put Black Thought first is like I just think he's like one of the greatest prolific MCs of all time. I think out of the list, when his career is over and when the Roots career is over as a group, they will be studying their albums from here on out. The same way you can go to Princeton or Harvard or Yale and they're studying Nas's, Illmatic. I think the Roots will be studied for generations to come. And I think that, like, as far as his stage presence, his delivery, his content, his respect and mastery of the culture, of its history, like it's nobody else in the game that comes close. After that, with Ghost, I feel like from his generation and out of the Wu, he's the only member of the Wu who consistently got better throughout his career. Everyone else, they got better and then they reached a plateau, or they just stayed where they were. But Ghost, like, he's a supreme beat picker. He got countless hits. I mean, he's an amazing storyteller. He's super, passionate and theatrical with his rhymes. After that, with Most, man, Black on Both Sides and the Black Star album were two of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. On top of that, him being one half of Black Star and then being a member of the Native Tongues as well, and then being able to take that skill as an MC and transition into film and into theater, that's super amazing. Pharoah, the only reason I put him last is because he's like, his market is more of like a hip-hop purist and like an intellectual listener. Most people in this day and age who listen to hip hop, they don't want to think deeply into it. Not every single song. You know, I put him in like the same category as like a Lupe. Like they're so amazing that like you can't really enjoy it. Like you got to listen to it over and over and over again and research it and look up words in the thesaurus and the dictionary to really figure out what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason I put him last.
All right, thank you for your list. I appreciate that.
I like that was good analysis. I like that.
It is, but like the only pushback I really give on that, and I hear like Pharoah was able to make he's a fucking total think piece, and you really got to break that shit down. But he did make Simon Says, you know what I mean? Like,
and oh no,
like, yeah, he made club bangers. Like, so yes, I get it. The majority, the clear majority of his catalog, his songs are they're heady as fuck, but he could do it the other way too. So that it shows some versatility. But yeah, nice list. And this is the deal. There's no real right answer. There's no right answer to this.
No right answer.
This is all preference. 888-742-3345.
Arturo in Florida.
Arturo, we're running out of time, so we're just gonna give us the list. You don't got to give us the reasons, so we can get the most people on. So we got
Arturo in Florida. Arturo, you were just there, brother. Where are you?
Arturo, you there?
Oh, hang okay, hang on a second.
I'll let her.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah. So I'm saying Ghostface first, Black Thought, Mos Def, and then Pharoah Monch.
Okay, all right.
That's fine.
It's so far. It sounds like Ghost is. People were really fucking with Ghost the most. Are you noticing that too?
I mean, I've been writing this down. The last three, Most was number one for one, Black Thought was number one for one, and Ghost was number one for one. So,
but Ghost hasn't been.
And then
Ghost hasn't been 3 or 4 for anybody's yet, including us.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, Ghost is 1 or 2, no matter who we're talking about.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Who's next?
All right, let's go with Rico in Brooklyn.
Rico.
Yo, what's good, man?
Shit, chilling. What do you got for your
bro? I'm gonna go ahead and put Ghost as number 1. 2, I'm gonna go ahead and put Mos Def there. Black Thought number 3. 4, Pharoah Monch. You know, Ghost had put out a lot of classic. You know, he been on the feature albums of Only Built from Cuban Links.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of songs, Glaciers of Ice, Ice Cream, Investigative Reports. You know, this dude been touching everything. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, no disrespect to the rest of the rappers and stuff like that, but if you want to talk about some classic hits that that's just been putting some longevity in, and plus with a big group like Wu-Tang, you got to put Ghost first, man.
Yeah.
You got to put Ghost first.
That's another. It's funny. The other guy just said that too. It's like Wu-Tang is considered by many to be one of the best hip hop groups. Like your NWA, Wu-Tang, Ghetto Boys, and for somebody to fucking outlast everybody in their group for the most part is it's fucking impressive, man.
Right.
Exactly, bro. It's very impressive. You know what I'm saying? Shout out, Method Man, he's still doing his thing too. He's touching a couple of records as well. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, when you talk about the wordplay, when it comes to, when you hear Tony Starks, on the album, you already know it's about to go berserk because it's Ghostface. You know what I'm saying? So I got to put him number 1. Got to put him number 1.
It's also the other thing too, like if you're around when Wu dropped, everybody was claiming meth. You know what I mean? Like Ghost was kind of people fucked with him, but I don't think anybody could have saw Ghost being the one that was gonna have the longest career. And that's not a knock on Ghost. It was just he didn't have the buzz that RZA, Jizza, and Method Man.
And ODB.
Oh yeah, forgot. Yeah, and Old Dirty Bastard. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Ghost was not revered. I mean, he was revered, don't get me wrong, but that crew is so crazy that he was probably 4th or 5th man.
And that was like for like some newbie listening. This is not a knock on Ghost at all. I'm just telling you, I'm just telling you what the weather was back then. And like Method Man had the B-side on their first single, Method Man, and he was probably the most popular of the group at that time. Who else we got?
Let's go with Dirty Red out of Alexandria, Virginia.
Dirty Red.
What's good, y'all? What's good?
Shit, chilling, just chopping it up, talking music.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up, man. Hey, I just wanted to let y'all know I rock with y'all, man. I listen to y'all coming home from work every day. Y'all fire out there, man. My list, I'm definitely going with Ghost first. I'm going with Black Thought second. I'm gonna follow that up with Mos Def, and I'm gonna go with Pharoah Monch. Bringing up the rear with no disrespect to Pharoah Monch on that. I definitely got to go with Ghost. You know, he even had the feature on the new Kendrick joint right now, that Purple Hearts. That's fire too. To be in with some of the new going on now, I got to respect the game. With what Ghost has been doing, and the Roots, as far as Black Thought goes, man, Illadelph Half-Life is one of my favorite all-time albums ever, so I have to put Black Thought at a close second. And that's
the
how
other thing too.
List.
Yeah, like anybody that really one could argue the Roots' first 4 albums are fucking bangers. Like I didn't skip a bunch of tracks on any of those. Things Fall Apart, Illadelph Half-Life. Shit, I can't remember the names of that.
Was it Phrenology? Is Phrenology after that one?
Phrenology was their 4th, I want to say.
Let's see. Man, their catalog is so long. I'm looking at their Wikipedia right now while we're talking. You have to scroll forever to even get to their discography. They've done so much.
And that's another thing.
Phrenology was their 5th one, if you count Organics. Okay,
yeah, and a lot of people don't, because that was their but yes, it was their 5th. It was their 4th major label, 5th altogether. And the other thing too that we keep glossing over is they were the first live instrument full group. The Brand New Heavies did a collaboration with MCs. They were a group on their own. The Roots was an actual fucking full-on group.
And that, I mean, it's incredibly difficult to spit over live percussion, and I think that's another thing that Black Thought deserves so much credit for. Every day he's got to keep up with Questlove's drums. You know what I mean?
That's really interesting.
Like that is not easy to do. I mean, there was Method Man was on their show one time in the mid 2000s, I guess, whenever the Roots first got there, and literally asked for just the instrumental track instead of the Roots during his performance, because at that point in time it was difficult for him to keep up.
And using that is going to be to cement my point for him being number 2. He is also a band leader. Like he's directing. Like if you're the MC, if you're the lead singer, you're kind of pushing the group along, which is another skill that I don't know if the other people have.
We definitely haven't seen it from a live band perspective. I'm not even sure. I mean, Mos Def, I think he's played around with that quite a bit. I think he's a little bit more eclectic than Ghost and maybe Pharoah. I don't know, maybe Pharoah has too, but they don't do it to the level that Black Thought has. I mean,
I don't think it's even fair to even bring those fuckers up. Like he's literally been doing it since day one. You know what I mean?
Right. And then look, even their later albums are really good. The Tipping Point that's probably my favorite album they ever put out. Yeah. How I Got Over is amazing. Game Theory, Rising Down aren't bad. You know what I mean? So they're pretty consistent since they showed up.
Yeah. Like the first 3 majors is Do You Want More, Illadelph Half-Life, and Things Fall Apart. Right. And I fuck with all, I for real fuck with all 3 of those motherfuckers. Tough.
Yeah. Incredible records.
Yeah, they really are. I might have to go back and listen to them again. I'm giving them a listen. It's so fucking long.
That's what's up. That's a good takeaway from this segment. Bro. That's a good takeaway. If you're gonna go home and listen to some rap music, this is a good segment.
Right? That's twice you made me do this shit, bro. Yeah, last time too, I was like, I gotta go. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and listen to some fucking Pac, which I always do, but still, it was just like,
Yeah, we're not.
What, John? You want to read? Is there anybody else that has a super different take? I'm kind of curious for that? If not, we can just kind of tell what everybody is picking.
I mean, we've got a full slate of people here. Let's just take one more.
I know, but try to pick the one that has something with the most different list than we have.
All right, let me glance.
Does anybody have Ghost as 3 or 4? Like, pick that motherfucker. I want to hear the reasoning.
All right, Ghost never dips out at number 2. It seems like.
No shit. All right. So
oh wait a minute.
Here we go.
I don't know, man.
Are they out of number 2? I want to.
Okay, let's. Here we go. Marvin out of Chicago.
Marvin, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on? I mean, I think that if people are really paying attention to the discography of all the artists that we're talking about right now, Ghostface definitely has his. He got All I Got It Was You, which is dope, sentimental. But if you ever studied any of these concerts, which I've been to, and I saw these people perform live, Mos Def knocked it down in the House of Blues in Chicago. I saw him knock it down in the House of Blues in Las Vegas, New York, and also I saw Ghostface do his performance and everything else. The feeling and the sentiment was just not the same. Man, Questlove is dope, right? But he can't do it on his own without our homie. You know what I mean? Like he had to, man, with Erykah Badu, that joint right there. If you don't know, you got me. Like, so yeah, I would have to put Ghost at 3, but Ghost is still, he's generational because he can do new music in the drill era rap. He could do it from then to now. You see what I'm saying? He'll still be dope. You know, like he did that hit with Tiana Taylor. Like he didn't do it, but you know, he can come off with that heat. You see what I'm saying? And Pharoah Monch, you can't stop him because I believe what you said earlier. Like, yo, he definitely had that back the fuck up. That Simon Says was definitely dope.
Yeah.
But could you see him rocking right now? If you put them all together right now, who would you go see first? You feel me?
I would still go see Pharoah.
I see Black Thought.
I honestly would still go see Pharoah. You know, I've been to like 5 Pharoah shows. It's still one of my craziest experiences ever. Plus, I feel like I see Black Thought live every night. So, you know, it's not as much of an event to me at the same point. I guess I'm spoiled.
I guess I was gonna say some people say like familiarity breeds contempt. It's almost like you're so used to them now. Right. I saw them motherfucker. It's funny you say I saw them on mushrooms at House of Blues on Halloween in Los Angeles, and that shit broke my brain, dog. It was such a good live show. Such a good live show. Sidebar shit. Who was what MC for you, Justin? Out of all MCs, had the best stage presence that you saw?
This might sound crazy. I went to this concert in 2013, so it's fairly recent in this person's life cycle. It's called the Kings of the Mic Tour, and LL Cool J. I guess he's 50 something then. I don't know. He hadn't had an album out in 10 years. I don't know. His biggest hits were probably 15 years, 20 years before that. Yo, this dude, I've never seen someone move so much, have his mic so crispy, have rapport with the crowd, never miss a lyric, and low-key kind of dancing and don't look like the old dude in the club in 2013. I got to put LL Cool J.
There's 2 people for me, Busta Rhymes and Common Sense. And I guess Common was the most surprising because he's kind of a laid back MC, but something like he just has a presence on stage that I was blown away by. And when I saw Busta Rhymes at the Eminem event when Shade 45 first came, and like, so he wasn't up against slouches, and he came out there and fucking did his thing. And I think that's what we're gonna talk about next week, y'all. Like, who are some of your favorite live MCs? Thanks for bringing that shit, Just. And so, what do we got? What was the most? Who's the most popular? Who's the second most popular?
Well, based on my unscientific little poll on the phones and just glancing down what I wrote down, and Justin, correct me on my order here if you have a different opinion, but I'm going to say Ghostface is number 1, just glancing at my list here. And then number 2, I'm going to go with Black Thought. And then number
really?
Again, this is just my quick little
poll. Right.
And number 3, I'm going with Mos Def, and then Pharoah Monch. It's
number 4.
Yeah, that's what I got from the callers. It was either Ghost or Black Thought that were 1 and 2 for pretty much everything.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for calling. And I thought everybody, no matter who they picked, I felt like everybody had a clear reason. You know what I mean? Like, we might not have the same values, but I really enjoyed hearing what everybody's opinion was and why, you know, including you, Just. You know what I mean? It made me think about just the way people take in music differently, you know?
Yeah, word up. I appreciate that. That's the thing about it, man. You know, hip hop is competitive, but there's no scoreboard. You know what I mean? There's no wrong answer.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, Just, thank you, man. You guys can follow The Company, man, on everything.
Word up. Appreciate you, Jude.